So yesterday marks the first game Aaron Rodgers finally got to play with the New York Jets. We all know last year his first game with the New York Jets, bringing out the flag and everything. Was it before the quarter even ended? He tore his ACL. He tore his Achilles against the Buffalo Bills, resulting in him being out for the rest of the season. We started hearing rumors about him coming back and all this stuff before last season even ended, but it never happened. And then this past off season, all the drama with him going to Egypt and all this stuff, just goofy stuff that we Packer fans saw in his last days as a Packer. And now they finally get to play his first game against the San Francisco 49ers. And they got a long way to go before they could be considered to be Super Bowl champs. But is the decline in for Aaron Rodgers? I think so. We start to see, at least for me, I started to see a little bit of a decline with him in his last few years with Green Bay. I know he did win MVPs those years, but there was a little bit of decline. He wasn't fast as he was in his earlier years. It seems like now his arm is starting, I wouldn't say starting to go up, but it's starting to slow down. It's not as powerful as it used to be. And some of that might have been because of the torn Achilles now. But I think over the course of this season, we're not going to see the same Aaron Rodgers. The New York Jets are not getting that same Aaron Rodgers that they have gotten. May have gotten if they would have traded for him earlier when he was on the Packers. In this game that he played, where's my stat book right quick, please? In the game that he played against San Francisco, it was a typical Aaron Rodgers opening day, definitely. I will get to that soon. What I mean by that. They actually started out this game with a lead, with a 7-3 lead, and San Francisco just took over after that. Aaron Rodgers was 13 for 21, 167 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception with a QB rating of 82.8, something that he 82.8. That's kind of low for him, especially during his prime. I don't think he ever got close to that. Sometimes I think he had a QBR rating of 51.1. But there was a stat I'm trying to look for, but I can't find it anywhere. But for the last 4 seasons, including the 2 with the Jets now, his opening games have not been great. I think one year, I think it might have been both years against the Vikings and Saints, he threw for like a maximum of 81 yards or somewhere around that. Maybe not a maximum. Anywhere from 81 to 100 yards, and threw interceptions with no touchdowns in his last few games, opening games for the opening season. And they got smacked up too. Because I know one year they got beat by the Saints terribly, and then they got beat by the Minnesota Vikings. But here's another thing that may be also true. That wide receiver core does not really impress me. They don't really have a number 1 wide receiver on this team. They don't have no Pro Bowl wide receiver. Allen Lazard. Tall, big, but I don't think he's quick enough to get past some of these wide receivers. Some of the problems he had when he was out with the Packers. He caught 6 passes for 89 yards. He did get 2 touchdowns. Garrett Wilson, 6 yards. 6 catches for 60 yards. Bryce Hall, 5 catches for 39 yards. They didn't get too much production by anyone else here. Their running game is going to have to be a big thing as well. That running game is going to have to help them. You can't just rely on him throwing a whole bunch of... That was the problem with sometimes the Packers can't rely on him just throwing the ball all the time. You got to mix it up a little bit also. And they started playing Tyrod. He must have played Tyrod Taylor towards the end of the game. But Brock Purdy didn't throw for any touchdowns. After there was just rushing touchdowns, one by Deebo Samuel and one by Jordan Mason. Because Christian McCaffrey did not play in this game. But anyways, as far as the New York Jets is concerned for the rest of the season, they're nowhere close to being a Super Bowl contender. I think they might be a fringe 7 seed, if anything. There's still Cincinnati, Baltimore, of course the Chiefs, Jacksonville, Houston, Colts, Chargers, maybe even the Raiders. I don't know about the Raiders. Those teams are in front of them. Now, I keep hearing rumors that possibly the Jets could try to trade for Devontae Adams to reunite those two again. So I don't think Devontae Adams really wants to be on the Raiders anymore. I think similar to Aaron Rodgers, he probably shot his mouth a little bit too fast. I also think that Aaron Rodgers, he would have kept course with the Packers. He probably would have had a better wide receiver core than he has now, because the Packers wide receiver core right now is pretty speedy. It's pretty fast, especially when you got a person like Jalen Reed on your team. But Jets defense is not that bad, but the offense might struggle for a bit. Aaron Rodgers, like I said, he does not look like the same Aaron Rodgers that we've seen before. His running ability is probably going to be shot. He's probably not going to be as fast. I'm not saying he was freaking Tyreek Hill fast, but he's not as fast as he used to be. It'll be hard for him to get out of that pocket now. And also another thing, mentally, and I know people who tear something like that, like Achilles, I wouldn't say they suffer mentally, but in the back of their mind, they kind of think, be careful how you step. So that might be an issue with him with this whole season. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But Jets fans out there, we'll see what happens with this team. Like I said, I predict they probably are not going to be a top team unless some other teams start to falter or lose some people due to injury. Who knows? But I know the Jets they're looking for a home run here. I can't even think of the top of my head the last time they went to the playoffs. Was the last time they went to the playoffs was with Mark Sanchez's back-to-back years? That's a long time ago. But anyways, we'll see what happens with them. We'll see what happens.